All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasalli ala rasulihi al-kareem. Amma ba'd. First and foremost, Jazakallah khair to each and every one of you for being here today. Those that are here online, Jazakallah khair for tuning in. I just want to do a quick sound check because we have experienced issues in the past with this. So if someone from the online team can go ahead and give me a thumbs up to let us know that you guys can hear us and y'all can see us, inshallah. All right, Jazakallah khair. All right, let's do this. All right, folks, so we're going to make this short and sweet. You're going to hear from myself for about like 10 minutes or so, inshallah. And then we're going to have our educational advisor, Sister Salvi, who's going to come up and also speak for about 10 minutes or so. And then, inshallah, if we have any questions, we'll leave those towards the end. Sounds good? Let's do this, inshallah. So, folks, I think everyone knows why we're here. It is the summer camp time. It's officially back, alhamdulillah. And so we just wanted to go over some different elements in pertaining to the summer camp and what you can expect from us, and inshallah, what we hope to expect from you. So the first and foremost is the Iaa School Approach. What does each one of the teachers go into class having the intention of, and what is it that we're trying to accomplish? Every single teacher takes into consideration the whole child experience, who that child is. You see, every child is very unique, right? Every child has different temperaments. Every child has their own unique characteristics. At the end of the day, it's trying to instill an environment of safety. It's trying to instill an environment of learning and belonging, right? Something where they want to come back. And that's something that we try to instill as much as we possibly can. So we try doing this, obviously, by being mindful of the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in also doing so, we're hoping to develop skills, habits, and mindsets that are also in tune with the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you'll see our team, alhamdulillah, comprises of many, many different people. Y'all already know, I say this all the time. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. And that's true in every one of our programs. And as you'll see over here, it's a collaboration of teachers, TAs, parents, volunteers. There's so many people that go into making this a successful program. Now, who are some of these important team members that you need to know of? So that way, if you ever have any questions, if you have any inquiries, you know who to go to. First and foremost, we have the educational advisor, who is Ms. Salvi Ahsan. That is her email that you see on the screen. If you want to go ahead and take a quick snap of this, all of this information, by the way, will be available on the website as well, in case you want to go back and look at it, inshallah. If you have any questions about the program in terms of the curriculum, in terms of all the fun stuff, as you see on the slide, that you can always direct to either the educational advisor or you can direct to myself, inshallah. Second, we have our Hifdh director, newest member of the team, who inshallah will also be leading our part-time Hifdh and full-time Hifdh department. That is Sheikh Shahid, who can be reached at the Hifdh director at My Island Masjid email. He leads our summer Hifdh intensive and our part-time Hifdh programs. Secondly, third, you'll have our office admins that comprises of Brother Ali Subhani and Brother Abdul Ghaffar. Anything related to payment, registration, your account online, is it working? Your portal's acting funny, whatever questions you may possibly have, this team is always ready to, inshallah, answer any of those questions. Lastly, we have our Shura liaison. We have Brother Ahmed Hussein, who can be reached at that email that you see below. For communication, the main email that you need to add to your email list, just in case you don't miss anything, you don't miss a beat, because this happens very frequently, right? This is a website that, alhamdulillah, through the grace and mercy of Allah, and through the efforts of that same team, that admin team that I just told you, Brother Abdul Ghaffar, they built this from scratch. So yeah, naturally, there will be some workarounds. There'll be some things that will require a learning curve. But alhamdulillah, we're there to assist with all of that. But please go ahead and add this email to your safe senders list. So that way we ensure that there's no communication that's left unchecked, or there's no communication that's left unread, inshallah. And if you want to go ahead and check the message board for your class, so any class that may have class-specific announcements, that you can always go to the My Island Masjid website, and you can go ahead to your class-specific message board, and you can also contact your teacher from there as well. Next, we have an overview of all of the summer camp programs. This specific flyer, you can also find, of course, on the website. Real quick, we'll just go through it. The summer camp programs start all the way from 8:45, 9 o'clock. We have our summer Hifdh students that'll come in. They leave at 11 o'clock. Then 11 o'clock or around 10:45 is when we expect our summer camp kiddos to come in. 2 o'clock is their dismissal. And then 4 to 6, we have our after school Quran Nadhira programs. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much it for the intro in regards to the summer programs. Who are these team members that y'all can expect to look forward to? First and foremost, we have our educational advisor and our youth advisor, Ms. Salvi Ahsan. You have the youth director and director of education, myself. And then here are our team members that will be leading each one of the classroom experiences, inshallah. So this is our lower elementary team. So by the way, whatever you see here, this is filled by the teachers. So if you're reading it, you can read it as if the teacher is talking to you. We would love for all the teachers to be here and speak to y'all, but inshallah, because consideration of time, consider this as the teachers reaching out to y'all. So we have Sister Aisha, who is going to be the lower elementary lead teacher. Then you also have Miss Asia and Miss Rabia, who will be the lower elementary TAs. And then you have Miss Zahra, who will also be a lower elementary teacher. Moving forward, then you have the upper elementary team. You will have, it comprises of 3 different members. You will have the lead, Miss Sharina, who is the upper elementary lead. Then you have Miss Zarina, who is the upper elementary teacher. And then you'll have Miss Manahil, who is the upper elementary teacher as well. Next, you'll have the middle school team, comprises of Miss Maliha, and then also Hifdh Rabi. And also I'll be a coordinator for the middle school class as well. Lastly, you'll have the high school team. That'll be led by Coach AR, and that'll also be led by Sheikh Shahid. So this is pretty much the team that you can look forward to, inshallah. They'll be here on a day-to-day basis to ensure all of those things are met that we discussed in the beginning in our intro. Now, when can we expect y'all to drop off our kiddos? Students cannot be dropped off before 10:45. There's been a few cases like this that have happened in the past. Teachers may be here, but they're getting ready to prepare the classes, all right? To ensure that as soon as the students walk in, the classrooms are ready and that the kiddos can just come in and get rolling. So in order for that to best be facilitated, we ask that parents drop off students at around the 10:45 time, and you can drop them off all the way till 10:55, inshallah. So we have this about 10-minute window for you to go ahead and drop off your kiddos. Students need to sanitize hands upon entering, and we'll have a designated volunteer for this as well. And everyone will head to the designated class area in the gym for assembly. Now, here is, I think, the most important one. Dropping off is very easy. You'll have a volunteer. They'll be there to take your child. Dismissal is where it gets a little bit more complex than that. And this is where we'll need every single parent's cooperation, inshallah. So Let's go through this really quickly. Walk-in pickups. Say you wanted to pick up your child a little bit early. Now, this is only encouraged in a moment where you need to take your child. The general understanding that we have is that Salatul Dhuhr is part of the summer camp. And so we want the students to pray together. And so if you can, fathers, mothers, if you can join us for the Salatul Dhuhr prayer, definitely do so. That would be the best. But if you cannot join, right, if you need to head out, all of those situations are understandable. Please be sure to follow this first guideline. Walk-in pickups between 1:45 and 1:55. Any moms can take the girls from the girls' side, and any dads can pick up the boys and go ahead and be dismissed. Now, in order to be picked up for a walk-in, you need to present your carpool tag. There have been instances in the past where it's just like, oh, I gotta go. Can I just grab and go? And we have maybe sometimes in the past considered and been like, okay, that's okay. But inshallah, we hope that we have everybody's cooperation in following this guideline. As far as the students that are here, what can they expect, and what is our expectation of them? Well, all students will go put on their shoes and belongings they'll grab, and they'll head to the designated area in the gym and leave their stuff there so that we can immediately go there after Salah. Boys will pray in the main prayer hall with dads and teachers, and girls will pray in the sisters' hall with moms and teachers. After Salah, whoever has not already been checked out by a parent, aka walk-in pickup, will need to head directly to the gym, put their shoes on, and grab their belongings and quietly wait until the name is called. And in just a second, in the next slide, I'll show you where we have each of the classes designated to sit in the gymnasium. Each student will get a carpool tag with name and level, which will be provided to y'all today. Parents, please put carpool tag on passenger seat window. Students cannot be dismissed without presentation of carpool tag. Walk-in pickups will also need to bring a carpool tag. Carpool dismissal will be between 2:15 to 2:30. So we take about 10 minutes, right, to finish up our salah. We'll take about 5 minutes at least, at a bare minimum, to walk the kiddos in, have them settle down, have them put their shoes on, grab their belongings. So by the time, truthfully, I know it says 2:15. Honestly, it's around like a 2:20 time where everyone's like really settled in. Okay, cool. Now the show can get started. Now, for those that may be waiting in line, that may be a little bit of a wait, but they've gotten their Salatul Dhuhr, they've gotten together, and then we're starting the dismissal, just so you know what's going on the inside. If students are not picked up, which inshallah, I know no one's going to do this, but just in case it happens, if students are not picked up, especially repeatedly, within that time frame, there will be a 1 minute charge incurred. Not a 1 minute charge, a $1 charge. Yeah, that sounds a lot scarier. So a $1 charge will be incurred, inshallah. Sorry, I just have a couple of chats. Let me see if there's anyone. Cannot see the screen. Ooh. Is that the case for everyone? That y'all cannot see the screen? Let me get some confirmation from anyone online. Can confirm with a thumbs up if y'all can see the screen and hear me. All right, cool. Let's keep it rolling then. Pick up carpool tags. Like I said, we'll get that to y'all today, inshallah. This is how we anticipate it looking on your cars. Obviously, y'all drive much nicer cars than the CRV here, but just please make sure to put it on the passenger side door. Parents, please put carpool tag on passenger seat window and keep traffic moving. You'll have designated volunteers that'll be there to ensure 3-4 cars at a time. The kiddos are safely seated inside. Once they are safely seated, the door is closed. That's when you'll be asked to continue moving along. Now, what does that look like, and where exactly are we hoping that y'all will line up? Well, this is, if you're familiar with our previous programs, then it's the exact same method from our Sunday school this last year. It's the same exact method that we used all year. So we'll be lined up right here. And as we'll continue coming down, all the way down, we'll make a round. And as you see right here, let me annotate just so y'all can see. This is the dumpster. That's the exit. And 3 cars at a time, right by the gym exit, is where we'll be dismissing our kiddos. So the line we're anticipating to start from here, and it kind of just goes down, if y'all can see that. All right. Don't judge me for my art skills. All right. And so pretty simple process. We'll just ask the parents to continue coming down. And inshallah, just stay put and you'll have some of the volunteers that will come through. And inshallah, in a matter of time, about 15 minutes typically it takes for the entire carpool system. So just kind of jot that down in your schedule. So don't anticipate that it'll just be a grab and go, unless you happen to be one of the first people in line. If you happen to be one of the people that's kind of towards the middle, towards the end, anticipate about a 15-minute turnaround time before we have your kiddos seated in the car, inshallah. Now, what does it look inside? Oh, we got about 9 messages. We can see. All right, alhamdulillah. Student seating arrangement inside. Just so you have an understanding, and you can also pass this on. And if there's any kiddos here, they can have an illustration as well. High school kiddos will be all the way in the far right corner. Upper elementary will be in the far left corner. And we'll have lower elementary and middle school more closer to the entrances right here. So this glass door that you see that enters us into the gym, that's where lower elementary and middle school will be seated. And as you see right here in the corner, that's where we'll exit. And then that leads us right to outside. Lastly, okay, this is my last slide. So I want you all to know that the fact that you have trusted us is an amanah. And each and every one of you has trusted us with this most gracious amanah, right? It's nothing monetary. You've given your kids over to us. So it's not something we take lightly. We have hundreds of kids that come here on a daily basis. And so, especially in today's day and age, just facing the reality that we have, we are that much cognizant to ensure that the environment that's offered is nothing but safety and nothing but aman. And so what does that mean? I know those are just words. What does that mean on the ground level? Well, there'll be security from 8:30 all the way till the end of our programs, all the way till Salatul Asr, which is 6:30. In addition to the security, all of our doors right after the drop off in the morning, the doors will be locked. So that's why you need to ensure even more so that kiddos are here on time, because doors will be locked and then you'll have to get in touch with someone, and then there'll be someone that'll come out and open the door for you. So just a heads up, all the doors are locked within a 15 to 20 minute time frame, and they will only be reopened once the dismissal is about to start. So just a heads up, all doors will be locked 5 minutes after class time and will remain locked until 15 minutes before dismissal time. We will have a security guard, as I mentioned. And lastly, we also have adopted the Allen ISD standard response protocol, which is lock out, lock down, evacuate, and shelter in place. In addition to all of this, we also plan on having training drills and weekly reminders in an age-appropriate and mindful manner. All of our teachers have gone through, background checks. Not only that, but there are our local people that we know for sure understand all of these values and also harp on those same sentiments as well. So we have a whole team that is on the same page when it comes to the importance of this. Rest assured, this is not something that we take light. And I just really wanted to take a moment to harp on that, that inshallah, please rest assured that we understand the importance of this amana, and you can leave it on us to ensure that we have all the measures that we can have in place, inshallah. So that's pretty much it in regards to the protocols and procedures. That is it from my end. Now, what does the day-to-day look like in terms of the classroom experience? What do you need to bring? What do you need to have? What will your kiddos go through? What does week 1 all the way to week 4 look like? What are the special activities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the fun stuff, right? So we'll have our educational advisor, Sister Selvi, who will go through all of that fun stuff for you all. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So as we were talking about the fun stuff, I do see some kids here, and I don't think you guys were planning on sitting through a PowerPoint presentation. And even though this was supposed to be for our parents, but I'm glad you guys are here. So we actually have a scavenger hunt for you guys. If you guys are some of our TAs and teachers are in the back. So if any of the kids want to go and do the scavenger hunt, or we'll play some basketball, there will be teachers and TAs there. So any of the kids are welcome to go. We're going to go have your own fun orientation on Monday. So, so you guys see all the teachers waving over there? So if you want to go ahead, you guys can go over there. All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I'm just going to check the time really quickly. All right. So I'm gonna zoom through this. I have a habit of talking really, really fast. But if you guys need me to, we'll answer kind of any questions at the end. So on an everyday basis, we expect everyone to make sure, I know it's summer break, kids are staying up late, but please ensure that the kids are getting a good night's rest the night before, breakfast before coming, and just a positive attitude, ready to learn and have fun. So of course, that's something, those are values that we're gonna be telling the kids to do as well. But obviously, as Mufti mentioned, it's a teamwork between the parents and ourselves as well. A water bottle labeled with names. We will not have water bottles at the masjid. A lunch bag labeled with the name with a healthy, filling, and nut-free lunch or snacks. So they can either bring like a full-fledged lunch or just like a snack. Again, it just really depends on the child's appetite. We're not going to be able to provide any snacks at the masjid besides certain special events, which I will tell you guys about. A journal and a notebook. This is just, and your kids will tell you more about what we'll be using that for, but just throughout the day, their observances, whether it's a thought they had, whether it's something interesting they noticed, I want all the kids to have like a notebook that they can write with. A prayer rug. So we're inshallah COVID, everything is going to be okay, but just to be safe, every child can just bring their own prayer rug, and masks are optional as of now. And then general supplies for daily activities will be provided. So whether it be like, if we're having a calligraphy project, all those supplies will be provided from us. Only lower elementary, so that's kindergarten, first and second grade. Not even second graders, I would just say honestly, just for the kindergarteners, to bring a spare pair of clothes in a Ziploc bag labeled. And then on the last day where we're going to have a fun day and water activities and things like that, that's the only day where everyone else would need to bring a change spare of clothes. Special items from home. There may be special kind of activities that we have that we may request the kids to bring something from home, or it might be like a class potluck we have. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about Grandparents' Day, where we are expecting kind of the kids to help us out do the preparations for that. What not to bring, bad attitudes, toys, electronic devices, anything that may cause harm to ourselves or others. Again, Iaa is not responsible for any theft or loss, just disclaimer message. Any questions about what you need to bring? Okay, cool. All right, so what the daily summer camp day is going to look like. So every day we're going to start off with a morning routine and assembly. Then we're going to have every day is going to incorporate some sort of physical, emotional fitness and just overall wellness. There's going to be daily sunnah integrations, like whether it be when they're starting lunch or they're preparing for salah, and then dhuhr, salah, and congregation. Each day, assembly is going to be covered by Mufti Noman and myself. So each week you'll see we have a specific theme, and each day of that week is going to go ahead and highlight that theme again. So day one, we're going to do ayah of the week, which is going to reflect on that theme. Day two is going to be dua of the week. Day three is going to be hadith of the week. Day four is going to be sahaba of the week. And again, just to really just in different ways reinforce whatever it is that we are, just the theme of the week, kind of going through that. So when you guys signed up for this, you got a kind of glimpse of the weekly themes. I'm just going to quickly kind of tell you guys what each of these things mean. So Tarbiyah 360 and Super Muslimah. So just kind of, I think, an introduction to the camp and highlighting different aspects of wellness and, just focusing on spiritual, physical, and mental and emotional growth and just being the best version of ourselves. Second week is Seerah Intensive. Just learning and falling in love, learning about our beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and just, just trying to incorporate his life lessons within our lives. Then we have Caretakers of the Earth, which is kind of taking care of ourselves, the world around us, and even our family members. And that's the week that we also have Grandparents' Day. And Purpose Driven, again, just closure of the camp, bringing everything together. How do we take all these life lessons that we learned from here and continue on, even beyond summer camp. The morning routine and the intention setting. So this is like, whoever starts arriving early, and we would just recommend everyone to kind of get here around 10:45, 10:55. There'll be some sort of morning work or journaling activity. The kids are recommended to go ahead and pray, pray to rak'ah if they know how to pray. And again, as Mufti showed you guys the diagram, they're all going to be in respective. We're going to try the first week where everyone's going to be in the gym and kind of each be with their teachers, but we'll see how that goes. And then we'll have assembly during each of the sessions. So when I go into the detailed schedule, you guys will see there's 2 main sessions, but even within those main sessions, we're going to have brain breaks. Again, it's really, really important. Even though summer camp in general is pretty light, it's really important, you know, even with the Quran programs, we try to incorporate just small mental breaks to help the students focus and attend. Again, this just helps kids to keep moving and, you know, their blood and oxygen to flow to the brain and just learn more that way too. Lunch and snack time, again, we're going to have daily integrated sunnah of eating every day, you know, just basic things that even we as adults sometimes need reminders with, you know, washing our hands, the du'as, healthy eating, sitting and eating together. And then every physical activity is going to be a really, really big part of this camp. And then we're just definitely going to have recess time. I know we're some places we're cutting out PE time. We're all about adding in as much physical education time as we can. And we have Coach Abdul Rahim from Ummah Strength, who is going to be the high school lead teacher. And then every single day, he's going to be doing a physical fitness oriented game based on the Brand X Premier Youth Fitness Training Program. And then with the high schoolers, he's going to be focusing on a specific fundamental movement each week. And then at the end of the camp, we'll have a competition. If you guys want to meet Coach AR, he will be outside after orientation, so he can tell you a little bit more about that. So if you guys were in our summer camp in previous years, you know, we always had these 4 core subjects, and those core subjects, we still have those subjects ingrained within the activities we have, but I guess there's no subject teacher per se right now. We have your homeroom teachers. That way the kids also develop a relationship with their consistent teacher. But the core subjects we have are authentic artistry, simply STEM, wellness trio, and character construction. You know, arts is just, again, focusing on the creative, just arts is a really way to engage the kids' creative thinking and their out of the box thinking and solutions for society. So we really, really want to focus on, we have a strong focus on art. And then STEM, you know, kids learn best when they're, you know, designing, creating, and interacting and inventing. Wellness trio, again, promoting overall wellness, physical, socio-emotional, and spiritual. And then character instruction, we have a strong focus on tarbiyah, adab, and akhlaq, and just taking examples from our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and other prophets and other the righteous predecessors. Okay, so the daily general schedule, the schedule on a day will vary on specific days that we have special events and speakers. Let me just check the chat really quickly. Okay, so in general, the kids will be dropped off 10:45 to 11, 11 to 11:15, we'll have assembly, 11:15 to 12:15, that's gonna be your session 1. 12:15 to 12:45 is your lunch and recess time. 12:45 to 1:45 is session 2. 1:45 to 1:55 is salah prep and cleanup. And also if any parents want to walk in and pick up, check out their children at that time. 2 o'clock to 2:10 is dhuhr, and then 2:15 is carpool dismissal, inshallah. So as I mentioned to you guys, every day we're going to have this. So every day the teachers have this schedule that they're going to follow, like what's going to be incorporated in the morning routine, what's going to be the assembly focus, what's going to be the lunch focus, what's going to be the pre-salah focus. So this is our schedule for the first day. All the kids are going to come in. We're going to have this gallery walk activity where, you know, it's going to just kind of getting to know each other. And then the assembly focus will go over general summer camp structure, the weekly themes, and do our ayah of the week for the first theme. The lunch focus for that day, for example, will be wash your hands, remembering to say Bismillah, and the dua when you forget to say Bismillah. And then pre-salah focus would be wudu, having a clean body and clear mind. And then this is just this is honestly internal teacher kind of diagrams, but I just want to show you guys kind of like, okay, you guys have all these activities. How are you planning and fitting it in? So for example, the first day is actually a very special guest speaker and special event heavy day. So the lower elementary, we have Sister Sarah Rubab from Sarah's Calligraphy, who's going to be coming and doing, focusing on the golden age of Islam and Islamic geometry throughout the whole week. but each day she's going to focus on a different level. So the first day is lower elementary. Upper elementary, we're going to have Sister Komal, who is electrical or mechanical engineer at Texas Instruments, and she's going to come do circuit activities and a STEM activity with the kids. And then middle school and high school, in the beginning of the day, they're going to do science of boba and some team building activities. And we're going to have Brother Mehboob come in to do a mental health and empowerment workshop with the middle schoolers and high schoolers separately. So that's kind of like a gist of what to expect the first day. The teachers that we have in the class, they're there for that consistency for the kids, to help manage the kids, just to make sure and to help out the guest speakers that we have as well. One of the days so this is the only offsite event that we have planned so far. So, and this is actually next week. This is going to be day 3. Last year we tried this, and so just kind of learned from whatever we could do better, but it was really, really fun and the kids loved it. We had a biking and skating day. So we're going to meet at Allen Station Park, and the lower elementary actually has, so the schedule was a little messed up, but like they will still have their session with Sister Sarah there, and they'll be able to do like a tricycle race. They have like a BMX track there, biking trail, and a visitor center with pool and foosball. So it's just going to kind of be an outdoor activity day. So in you guys' packets that you guys have, you'll see where you need to drop your kids off, what they need to pack, what they need to bring. There will not be anyone on site. So everyone needs to be dropped off over there. For any reason, if your child is unable to participate in this activity, just shoot an email to iaschool@myallenmasjid.com, and inshallah, we'll see what we can do. But all levels, we're all going to be there, and there's going to be different activities throughout the day. This is just a picture of the park. It's really, really pretty. And then you can see the BMX track and things like that. All right. And then, we, as mentioned on the main registration, there's going to be a couple of special events that we would need the parents to go ahead and register for, and just like minimal cost, just to help us cover our cost. So 3 of those activities, the first one, and there's a QR code here, and we'll actually put this in the gym afterwards. So if you guys just scan the QR code, it'll take you directly to the payment that you need to make. So one is for the animal show, horse riding experience, and archery. So for the registered summer camp students, it's going to be $20. If there are any Hifdh intensive students or ASKN students, and maybe if we have room, some siblings, they can get a pass for $40. So for registered summer camp students, it's $20. For those who are not a part of the summer camp program, but they're a part of our ASQN or our Hifdh programs, they could also participate in these fun activities, but at the $40 rate. And then we have our summer camp fun day, which is this one right here. We're gonna have water slides, dunk tanks, pizza. We're gonna have a live grill going on. So there's an activity and food pass. So the kids can either get a burger, hot dog, or pizza, and just all the activities. There are going to be like additional treats and drinks that the students, maybe the older students, will be actually selling. And just again, 50 cents, $1, something like that, for like popsicles, drinks, and stuff like that. And then my most favorite event, I think, in general at the masjid, the Grandparents' Day. This is a day where we request the kids to bring in their grandparents or any elderly in the community. And so usually we have the kids, either make something from home and bring it. And that whole week we'll also be doing different activities to kind of prepare for Grandparents' Day. But again, just to kind of help us make this a special event for the grandparents, you can either sign up using the potluck or contribute $10. And these are just the different flyers for each of the events. And then these will be in the gym after we are done over here. Okay, so I think that's it from my end. And then I think we're going to start the Hifdh intensive. Do you guys have any questions for me or Mufti Noman? Yeah, so all the information, again, everything that we're doing, this whole meeting is also being recorded. So we'll send you guys a recording. We'll send you the PowerPoint deck, and then all of this you will also, I'll be outside right now to answer more questions, but you can also, if you want to go ahead and register for these things right now, there's a QR code on here and you can just scan it and pay for it right now. Yes. Hold on, let me look at the I need to like look at, I'm a visual learner. So week 4. So the days that you guys don't see like a special event, they will still be having. So these are only what's you're seeing on that document is just like special events or whenever we have guest speakers. But again, every class and every day is a special event. But this is just like Sister Fatima right here is actually one of our guest speakers who's going to be coming in. She is an amazing nutritionist. She's also going to be coming in on Grandparents' Day to be doing a session for our grandparents and our kids together. So what you guys see on that neon colored packet is just like special events. But beyond that, like if there's not a speaker or special event happening that day, the teachers will be doing some sort of lesson with the kids from those 4 core subjects, from Simply STEM, artistry, and things like that. Are the parents annotating on the screen? I thought that was only an issue with the kids. All right. Yes, and if you're virtual right now, we would, so for those of you guys who are virtual, we're going to email all of this out, the QR links, everything. And then if you did not get your carpool tag, any of the handouts that we have, just when you stop by to drop off your child on Monday, we will go ahead and make sure you get a copy. Any other questions, concerns? Yes. Oh yeah, thank you so much for bringing that up. I really need to, that was a really, really important thing actually. So week 2 is a little kind of different in the sense that, so the brother that we're having come for archery was only available after summer camp hours. And we also just wanted to incorporate one day where the kids could come like after hours and do like a proper bonfire and things like that. So week 2, thank you so much for bringing that up. I'm actually going to pull that up right now. That way I can explain it in a better way, I guess. Give me 1 second. So week 2, each of the days, the kids are going to have a different, one of the levels is going to be coming in the evening instead of the morning. So again, I know that may have an issue with some of the parents' schedules, but again, just to make it a more special and fun activity for the kids. So for example, if you look at week 2, here is a calendar view. I don't think this was printed out for you guys, but we'll send it in the email. So week 2, you'll see in lower elementary on June 13th, they're going to have an outdoor living skills workshop with Brother Zishan in the morning. Upper elementary is going to have their STEM and circuit activity. Middle school that day will not come in the morning. They will come in the evening from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So it'll still be 3 hours, but they'll be doing archery. They'll be having a bonfire, like kind of like a campfire type thing. And then high school will be doing calligraphy. Now the next day, lower elementary will be here on site. Upper elementary will not be on site. They will need to be dropped off at 5 to 8 p.m. for their archery and bonfire experience. Middle and high school is going to be doing their outdoor living skills workshop with Brother Zishan. On Wednesday, lower elementary is going to have their PM session. They'll be dropped off at 5 instead of 11 and be dismissed at 8 o'clock. And they'll also have their own bonfire and doing archery in an age appropriate manner. Upper elementary is going to have their calligraphy project. Middle and high school on the 15th, they're doing their horseback riding. On Thursday, lower and upper elementary are going to have, with the lower and upper elementary, some of the kids last year when we did it, they were scared of riding the horses. So we just did like an experience where they could just kind of groom the horse and learn about the horse or just take pictures with it. So it's honestly up to each child, but there will be horses there on site that day too. And that's the night that high school will come for their PM session for their archery and bonfire. So again, if there's a conflict with the timing or something, just let us know. Sorry, like, oh, they're not gonna have 2 programs on the same day. Like, if you guys see something like that, please let me know, because that means I did not look at it carefully. But like, I have been analyzing this so much. I think inshallah there should not be anything duplicate. So if there is an event, like for example, if it says, like if you look at week 4, on the 28th, the middle schoolers and high schools have an improv workshop with Brother Zishan Parupia, and they have the water and beverage intake and fruit infused water activity with Sister Fatima, but they're going to be happening at different times. So Sister Fatima will be working with them in the morning, where Brother Zishan will be working with them in the evening. Does that make sense? So that's basically, yeah, but there won't be like a thing, like suppose in week 2, we're not gonna have like an activity for the high schoolers in the morning if they're coming in the evening, if that makes sense. All right, any other questions and concerns I can take outside because we do have to get started with the Hifdh intensive orientation. So if your child is in the Hifdh intensive, I know there. So while we're on that, actually, those of you who do have kids in the Hifdh intensive, after your child is done, that's from 9 to 11. After they're done with that, they could just head to the gym. Whoever is not registered for summer camp after Hifdh will basically go to the dismissal area. That's the only kind of comment I had with that. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone, for coming. Please keep us in your du'as. There's a lot of, just heart and soul that goes into this planning, and we just really want it to be a meaningful experience for the kids. So inshallah, and then again, if any concerns with scheduling or anything like that, please go ahead and email iaschool@myalanmashhad.com. And I'm sure Mufti mentioned this to you guys. Please make sure that the email is also on your safe senders list. We've had a lot of parents where the email just goes to their spam. So because the teachers will be sending weekly updates. All right. Let me just search the chat. Oh, the carpool tags are going to be in the gym. There's going to be one table for lower elementary, one table for upper elementary, one for middle school, one for high school. So you guys can go ahead and get your carpool tags in the gym. And then I'll also bring these sign up links to the gym so we can go ahead and sign up there, inshallah. So if you're in summer camp, it's the $20 one. If you have like someone who's in the Hifdh or ASQN program, it's the $40. And then this is just for the, yeah. But I'll put everything out there that way.
So I understand that, but we only have to drop off and pick up, right? But all the activities are only the kids are doing.
Yeah.
And there's this only location, or do we have to take some?
So there's one on Wednesday, next Wednesday actually, where they have to be dropped off at Allen Station Park.
Oh, okay.
So and then again, all this will be sent in emails, like everything I know. So I like really zoom through it, but this will all be sent in the email. And it seems like the moms do a really good job at reading the documents. Thank you guys so much. Yeah.
Sister, my question was.
So if we can all just head to the gym and I can get your questions there. That way, the brother can get started with the business. Yeah, we're really sending it online.
Sister, quick question. So they're going to talk about the intensive program, right?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, okay.
And then if you still have questions about this, I'll still be on there.
I'm okay with that. So we can stay here.
Anyone who's here?
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right, folks, I'm not going to be long, inshallah. And for the most part, we had Mufti Noman and also Sister Salvi explain most of the activities that's going to, go along with our summer camp, inshallah. As for those who are here about the Hifdh intensive, inshallah, let's just go through it very quickly. Starting off, inshallah, with our team. So we have, including myself, we have 4 individuals, myself, and we have Hifdh Amaila. Want to raise your hand? There you go. MashaAllah. And she is really excited to be working with our children, inshallah, for the Hifdh intensive. And then we have Hafiz Abdul Hazameh. Yes, half is, right? Halfway, mashallah. And then we have our Hafiz Rabi Jamal, and we all know him. Is he here or? Okay, I think he just stepped out. He is our ASQN teacher as well. So you do have an idea who he is. So in the beginning, when we first wanted to start this, it was just going to be me. And then alhamdulillah, we had such high demands for this program. That was pretty unexpected for me, at least. I don't know about the team, but Brother Abdul Ghaffar always said, he said, you just watch it grow, inshallah. And next thing you see, we had to get 3 teachers. And we're still, I know some of the parents, even right now, they came up to me about this program as well. We're trying to squeeze in much as possible. Moving forward, how would the classes be day to day? One of the questions that I had coming in from the parents is, I don't know, with my child coming in very, very early in the morning, 8:45 in the morning, or starting at 9 and then joining the summer camp. And it's like pretty much a whole day of school. So what I usually tell the parents is that the morning time is the best time for the Hifdh and their brain, and for them to be active in the morning. It's just more suitable than the nighttime or the evening time. So that's a plus point there. And with Quran, you need to have a fresh brain, an early start to get it done. As for the summer camp, as you all know, the activities is not burdensome. It's not activities in which they will sit down and memorize the whole time, or do any Quranic activities which require recitation and looking and memorization. So a summer camp would be, I would say, a complete time which they could get and receive refreshing. So from the morning and just jumping into the summer camp would be great. And that's, I would say, the ideal time to do that. Day to day, what we will be doing in the class, Monday to Thursday. So we're looking at 8:45 in the morning, all the way down to 10:45, because we're leaving a 15-minute time so that of transition. So those students who will be going home, they would be going home. And those students who will be joining summer camp, they can join the summer camp. In that time frame, what we will be covering. First off, if the student or the child is starting their Hifdh from the beginning, from scratch, then of course they're going to be starting from Surah An-Nas. Knowing the name of the surah, memorizing the surah. Each and every child and each and every student is unique. They have their own way of memorizing. The teachers and the assistants, meaning the Hifdhs that we have in our team, they will be giving out a process, a way to progress, a way to memorize. We will be there to help our children and your children to do that. But sometimes students have their own unique way and their own way to memorize. So sometimes you will see that if they are unable to memorize in their own pace, we can come in and combine our strategies or skills, say, hey, I think this would work for you. Especially in the Hifdh, for one student to memorize in a particular way may not work for another student. If I give a particular way of memorizing, it may not work for the entire class. And I'll tell you, in most cases, it may not work. In most cases, because each and every student has their own method and unique way of memorizing. What we will cover, I know some of the parents will say that, hey, my child memorized X amount of surahs. He or she memorized 1 chapter, 2 chapters, a few chapters. Where do we begin? Or there was a point where they memorized it, but just for the sake of retaining it all back, this is why we are here in the summer intensive. So how we will start off classes is that we're going to start from scratch with each and every student. The benefit for that is that the students will be able to revise, and at the same time, their instructor and their teacher will have an idea of how much they know versus how much they don't know, or weak places or weak surahs. Our goal is to memorize or at least retain, if they have memorized, at least half of the 30th juz, along with a few important surahs. When the students come in the morning, they will be delivering their new lessons, whether it's a new lesson that they are going to memorize the night before or the time that they have throughout the weekend and also weekday nights, or they're going to be revising whatever they knew as a new lesson. One thing to note is the dates that will be placed in their Qur'ans. So the parents, even though we will have a Google Doc that will be shared with you day-to-day progress, if you are unable to catch up every day with the Google Doc, if you open up your child's Qur'an, you will see a date over there. And from the date, you will be able to tell how much they've progressed that day. Whatever they memorized throughout the week, we will have a revision session in the class. So after the new delivery of the lessons, we will be going back and doing partial revision. If the student is able to give his entire revision, for example, 10 surahs, he can do so. She can do so. If the student finds it difficult to cover all the surahs that they've memorized, we will do half. If they cannot do half, we will do half of that. And like this, each and every day, they have to have revision. Because without revision, then you're going to go back to what? Back to point A again. I forgot it, or I'm not good at it. I don't remember it so well. So I need to redo everything again. Of course, with that, we will be able to tell the students that if you do this every day, even without an instructor or a teacher, then this is how you should continue to keep your revision and the parts that you memorized. Lastly, we will be having different classes every day. What I mean by this is that with the memorization of the Quran, it's a dry subject and a dry topic for kids. It's not easy to make a student and our children to sit there and just keep memorizing for an entire 2-hour frame. It's not, I would say, it's not possible with the attention span. They're not used to it. And I always say, when it comes to memorization, there's so much you can do to make Quran fun, right? Hey, memorize this, right? You can have a 10-minute break and do something else, but you still have to come back to it. That motivation to keep them going is the hard part, especially when memorizing the Quran. So for that, we have spread out in a 4-day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Each and every day, we will have a 20-minute session. We're going to have a break in the middle, a 5-minute mental break, inshallah. And then we're going to restart again. But the last 20 minutes of class, so that they are able to enjoy being there, we will have different classes. On Mondays, we will have adab, to learn manners in Islam. And we're going to be doing that directly from Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah's book, the Adab al-Islam. On Tuesdays, we're going to have fiqh Tuesdays. We're going to have a fiqh session, the basic things about fiqh, starting from, tahara, cleanliness, all the way down to the Quranic aspects and all of that. And we're going to make it fun, inshallah. And on Wednesdays, we're going to have dua and hadith. We're going to go over basic du'as, morning azkar to the evening azkar, pretty much all the du'as that they may be doing throughout ASQN programs or the Maktab programs. We're going to do that. And of course, they probably know the du'as already. We're going to give out worksheets for those du'as as well to make it fun. And on Thursdays, we're going to be doing collective tajweed. Now, the benefit for that is they're not only going to be, revising tajweed, just 2 tajweed rules a week. Or if it's a short tajweed rule, we're going to be covering 3 tajweed rules a week, so that whatever they did in the past with the qaida, we are revising all those tajweed rules in makharij. With that, we're going to have collective recitation. I love doing that part the most. It's pretty much a highlight for me throughout the week because sometimes, definitely when students come in the first day, to each other, student to student, they will feel that we all of us over here, we're starting the same way, the same pace. I have Surah An-Nas that I'm starting off with. He's starting off with Surah An-Nas, and she's starting off with Surah An-Nas. So students feel that we are all in the same pace. But what happens is that right from the first day, you'll see that some of the students are outperforming the other student. And to make them feel and to make the class feel, I would say, students feel this inferiority complex or emotions and feelings where, the student next to me or my friend next to me just went ahead of me. I've done 5 surahs revision and he's done 10. So what it does is that collective recitation is that we select one part of the Quran and we focus on that one part of the Quran for the entire month. And the teacher will recite those verses. And I usually do it from the 15th juz of the Quran, starting from Surah Al-Isra, so that none of the students usually know that part. And everyone repeats after the teacher or the instructor. And like this, we go back to back. And then if I'm doing it, then I usually make the students repeat it one by one. And that's how they break their ice as well, so that they are able to recite in front of a crowd or an audience, because they're reciting in front of everyone. And for the summer intensive, is going to be a lot of students. So that's really going to break their ice. At the same time, each and every student knows that we're doing the same thing. That's the best part. So they don't feel any inferiority with each other, that he is ahead of me and she is, behind me and he's ahead of me and all of that. So they don't get those feelings and they feel like it's done in a collective manner. And the outcome of that, hey, they end up actually memorizing that page. They end up memorizing that page as a class. So that's how, day to day, how it's going to be looking like for the Hifdh intensive. As for the dismissal part, I will be at the dismissal point at 10:45, inshallah, as the students are, moving and the transition of the students, whether they are going home, I will be there at that place. And then for those students who are joining summer camp, it gives them a 15-minute leeway where they are able to, sit in class and get that warm up and just get ready for summer camp, inshallah. So if you have any questions, inshallah, you may ask. And able to do so. If you have any personal questions about the pace of your child, that hey, my child did this much, and I would want him or her to focus on this surah, by all means, you can come up to me, inshallah, and we can work a schedule out or a day-to-day base and how much they should memorize, inshallah. Who do we have next? Huh? Let me check this. ASQN, yes. Yeah, we have Mufti. Yeah. Yeah. We had the screen. Yeah. So the ratio, I would say, mashallah, to Brother Abdul Ghaffar, he loves to keep it just 5. So we were sticking to that. So 5 students per teacher. Yeah. And you mentioned about all students starting at the same pace or yeah. Point. You plan to have them groups of students who are at different memorization. Is there something that sort? We're not. So all the teachers have been assigned with their students. We already separated them, and we separated them in age range. So I felt that would be better. Because it's tough to do it with the memorization pace, because then you might have a student that's 15, 16, and then you have a student that's only like 9 years old. So that's why. And I think students and kids, they like to be around those who are of their age, inshallah. Yeah. Later on, from the 4 to 5:15. So for the 4 to 5:15 session, is only going to be me. Yeah. So for that class, is going to be the same procedure. I mean, evening is also it's not bad. It's just that in the morning is always better to do the hifdh. Yeah, but we've done it for the last 3 months. I think we have parents here who joined the 4 to 5:15 session, and it went pretty good, inshallah. It wasn't really a problem. Plus, they have off from school, so it's not burdensome on them, inshallah. Yes. Yeah. Half juz, yeah. If they do more, why not? Inshallah. Quran is never ending, so they can just keep going, inshallah. So right now, inshallah, we're going to have Mufti Noman to cover our ASQN program, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. If you have any questions, I'll be at the back over there.
All right, y'all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasalli ala rasulih al-Kareem. Amma ba'd. All right, so we do have some familiar faces here online. It looks like we do also have familiar faces. So for the most part, y'all, everything is going to be the same that we had in the regular year in terms of program, in terms of procedure. So if your child is returning, all this is the summer semester. You get what I'm saying? They had a couple of weeks break, and now they're going to continue from where they left off. Maybe they might have to review that lesson that they left off on, but for the most part, they will continue moving forward. New students, inshallah, as the slides continue, I'll tell you what you can expect and where the placement will be for your children. So first and foremost, who is going to be the team that you can expect to lead your children during their Quranic endeavors? First, we have Hifdh Amin. Some of the teachers may not be here. Hifdh Amin actually is graduating as we speak. I needed to be there at Qalam Institute. So inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him and his family. Ameen. We have Hifdh Abdul Rahman, who's here in the back. We have Hifdh Amaila, and we have Hifdh Rabi, who's also here and who's also a summer camp teacher. So he may be attending to some questions outside. These will be the team members that will be here, inshallah, to help with all of our students and their Quranic journey. What is the schedule and structure? So again, if you're familiar with the program, it's the same exact structure. We keep a ratio of 5 students per class. No teacher is tasked with any more than 5 students. Secondly, we try to keep each of the students with the same peers as best as we possibly can. So you won't have, hopefully, a student who's doing Quran and right next to that student, there's someone doing Alif Ba Ta. We try to keep it as cohesive as we possibly can. But there are some classes, we have a limited amount of teachers and we have, all types of students. So we try to keep the balance as best as we possibly can. As soon as the children come into class, about 5 minutes or so, we ask the teachers, and all of our teachers are really, really phenomenal at this. Case in point, you could ask some of the parents that are here. It's those little interactions, those little moments that may seem very trivial, right? The kid wants to talk about his day. The kid wants to just tell you what he did on the weekend. The kid wants to tell you what his sister and him, watched last night in the movie. Whatever the case is, those few little small moments, they go the longest way. If I have a child's attention and if I have that child's heart and mind, I can expect that child will get some sort of lesson, right? And will bother listening to me. If I don't have that any connection with that child whatsoever, and it's very superficial, like it's very surface level, I don't know their interests, I don't know what they like, I don't know who they really are, right? Or what really drives them. There's not that much that's going to get, achieved from that class. And so that applies to all of our teachers. The first 5 minutes, we really make this active, attempt to really get to know each of our students. Thereafter, we don't spend too much time, 5 minutes after, then we start getting ready. For me specifically, I like to kind of give them each, we have like a spin the wheel. I'll put their name on each one of the wheels and then I'll spin it. And that will be kind of the rotation for the day. So Ahmed, Fatima, Khatija, Muhammad, and Saleh. That's the order that's going to be today. And then tomorrow might be different depending on whoever, the wheel lands on. That's going to be pretty much to set the stage. Takes no more than 2-3 minutes. Thereafter that, the students start their lesson for the day. We try to do 2 rotations each. Students are given throughout the class, there's about, each child gets about 12 to 15 minutes, but that's split up in 2 different rotations. So they'll come in with their first part of their lesson. Either they'll do really good or they'll need some review and some revision. That's when they'll go back. And the second rotation, they'll come back and finish off that lesson. They'll be given their new lesson and their new assignment for tomorrow. And that'll be pretty much it for their entire class. Towards the end, depending on how good the class does, different classes, different teachers have different incentives. For example, Hifdh Rabi is a very famous incentive. If you do good all week, then on Thursday, you can get 10-minute early dismissal from class and you can go to the gymnasium and play him in basketball. Everyone has their own different things. And we do it based off of the class and what they like, just so they have something to look forward to. Now, your children are either in the first session or the second session that we have. Either they're in the 4 to 5 session or they're in the 5 to 6 session. Please be sure to drop off children 5 minutes before class, maximum around 10 minutes, just like the summer camp program. Teachers are either still coming in, they're still settling down, they're making wudu, they're finishing their salah, whatever the case is that their routine entails to start for class. So if the kiddos come in, the older ones know that they come in and they just kind of sit and get started with their lesson. Some of the newer faces may be a little caught off guard, right? Like what's going on? Like the teachers, So make sure they come in on time. Teachers will be ready to greet them. And that way they can just hit the ground running, inshallah. Pickup and dismissal is immediately after class. That takes place right here in the downstairs sisters area. So if you brothers may or may not have seen it, sisters, you're well acquainted with that entrance. So for the brothers, if you go down this carpet right straight down, it leads to that sister's door. But for pickup purposes, you just come all the way around. Exactly where this Mazda here is parked, just right next to it is where we dismiss our kiddos. It's not mentioned here on the slide, but if we do see, and alhamdulillah, this is never the case, but it is a policy, so I have to share it. If there is repeated tardiness that is experienced, we will of course reach out to the parents, but that will start to incur $1 per minute cost if that continues to happen, just so we can ensure that everything is smooth and everything is continuing to move forward. Now, your children are either in one of 3 different levels when it comes to the after school Quran Nada program. So the idea here is your child, our students, we need to make a track for them starting all the way from the beginning, from their alif batas, their alphabets, and facilitate that journey all the way till tahfidh, learning and memorization. And if you want to take that extra step and do full-time hifdh with Sheikh Shahid, then mashallah, right? That's like nurun ala nur, gold on gold, right? But that's what the whole journey comprises of. So level 1 is exactly that. You have students who are in the beginner level. They're just starting off with the qaida, alif, ba, ta, just learning the pronunciation very early in their journey. Level 2, they've seen probably now halfway of the qaida. They're getting familiar with the rules, right? They can form words together. They're reading sentences from the Quran, albeit at a slower pace, but they have a bit of a know-how. Advanced students are on their Quran. They finish their entire qaida. They, at a month-to-month basis, maybe per the teacher's discretion and the class discretion, they revisit the rules sometimes, but they know everything in terms of application. It's just getting better every single day and continuing to go forward in their journey of the Quran. Now, what we're also doing, inshallah, is with each, now this is specifically for the parents that are in level 3, your kiddos. What we're going to do now is facilitate alongside their reading journey. They will also start having a branch that's going to come out in tahfidh and memorization as well. So now, so reading starts from the 30th juz and we go backwards, right? And I'll explain why we do that in just a second. We do 30th, 29, 28, 27, and then we go to the first juz. Now, you may be wondering, why is that such a random sequence of 5 juz or 4 juz there, and then you go all the way to the first juz? Whenever you have the chance, you can open up a mushaf. If you go to the 27th juz and you go to these 28th juz, it's very, very small ayat. وَالذَّارِيَاتِ ذَرْوًا وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى وَالطُّورِ. Very, very small ayat. And this child is just finishing the qa'idah. Where am I going to put him at خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ سَمْعِهِمْ وَعَلَىٰ أَبْصَارِهِمْ all the way on Surah Baqarah? That's going to be very, very hard. And what happens is you put the child on juz awwal, they're just like, dude, this is a lot of words. And then they start to get distraught. They start to get overwhelmed. So that's why we start them with the ajza that are a little bit easier. Eventually, we will go to Surah Baqarah. We will go to Juz Awal, but not to start. All right. So now, considering those ajza, the 30, 27, 28, 29, each one of those, the exit ticket will also include a track of memorization. Now, what does that mean? In order for you to pass and graduate Juz 30 and to go on to the next Juz, you need to have X amount of surahs memorized, the last 10 surahs. If you want to finish 29, you finished reading it, that's great. But in order to move on to 28 or whatever the next juz for you is, you need to have these X amount of surahs memorized. Do you get what I'm saying? So now what we're doing is alongside establishing their reading, we're also facilitating a track towards part-time hifdh. They're not going to be in the after-school program forever, right? And for some, they're getting very much so ready to go on to that next stage. Right? So they will need, inshallah, these next few months are just aimed for that, where they will pretty much be kind of getting ready. So that way they'll have their reading set and then they can, inshallah, have a smooth transition into the part-time hifdh program. Any new students that are coming in, you may be wondering, well, which one of these levels is my child going to be placed in? And it's a very good question. And a lot of times, parents, I've talked to you maybe individually, I've talked to you, now you're going to hear collectively. We always want to ensure that there's quality over quantity. And so your child may have had experience from before. They may have done X amount of ajzat, they may be coming from this teacher, they studied on Skype, or there's that case all the time. But as you're trusting us with this amana, to teach your children this Quran, we need to make sure that we're doing it correctly, right? This responsibility that we have, we need to ensure that we're imparting it the best way that we know how. And so in order to do that, there's an assessment that inshallah is going to be done that first day. I'll go through each one of the different classes. Placements have already been made for the respective classes. They've already been put in their respective teachers. Inshallah, day one, for only the new students, the previous students will just continue with wherever they are. New students will be given whatever their assignments are and whatever they need to have moving forward, inshallah, on day one. Thereafter, what does the assessment entail? Just so for our new family members, inshallah, you can kind of have an overview. It's usually just pronunciation, how fluent that child is, and if they are at that stage, what understanding do they have of rules? That's typically the three main things that we look at when it comes to the assessment of a child. Now, each one of you also, if you're a returning student, you already have access to this, but you'll have now a summer edition. All we'll do is just make a new page and you'll say summer. This is very important because for us, this is our track to look back and see everything that child has done. All right. Now, it's a teacher's responsibility to go every single day and write down the daily lesson that this child did, the homework that the child has, and any remarks that the teacher may have as well. So if you look at the screen, this is what a daily progress report looks like. All of you will have a copy of this for your child as well. And we hope if you do get a chance, if not every single day, we understand daily commitments, go ahead and at least on a weekly basis, just go ahead and signature that. That way the teacher knows that there's someone, that's also on the receiving end of this as well, all right? It takes two hands to clap. So we want to ensure that, we're doing the best so that the progression of the student stays at the ultimum high. Health and hygiene. Under no circumstances, and especially now with, cases rising and subhanAllah, things kind of shifting direction, under no circumstances should a parent bring a child, even if they're experiencing any sort of illness, any signs of sickness, whatever the case may be, even if it may feel like, hey, well, the child is good enough to at least perform, they can still go to class. We still ask. We had this just last month as we were ending off the programs. In some of the last weeks, we had a student who came in with pink eye, and so it happens, right? And there was a student who We later on found out the family had COVID. And so, subhanAllah, like we try, right, our best, but we will need, especially now, for parents to be just a little bit more proactive. If you do notice any of these signs, please make sure to be vigilant. And if you are comfortable, it's not a mandate. You definitely can bring your children with masks. We will also have those available as well. But it is not a mandatory. But we will definitely be practicing good hygiene. We'll have hand sanitizers at the entry. We'll make sure that we'll have kiddos go wash their hands and just do everything that we possibly can to ensure all the health and hygiene protocols are met, inshallah. What to bring and what not to bring. Sorry, I see a chat. Let me see what we got here. My son Saif was in Maktab class. Now he's coming back for summer classes. Is Sister Sadia still here? Sister Sadia is not here. All right. So I'll reach out to Sister Sadia personally. Okay. What to bring and what not to bring. What to bring. Now, each one of your children, if they are returning students, they already have their supplies. They'll have their mushaf, or they'll have their Quran. That's pretty much the main thing that is needed. Is in terms of the progress sheet, we used to do it in years past where we had physical folders. This last year, we stopped doing that because a lot of students were losing them. And then when we came back from COVID, we just kind of discontinued it. But I think we may bring those back. So just keep that in mind. So not only will you have an electronic copy, you also have a physical copy if you ever want to just look at it really quick. So that way we have two forms of communication and inshallah, two ways that the kiddos can keep track of their progress. If they're on the Quran, they'll need to bring their mushaf. If they're on the qaida, if they don't already have a qaida, I will provide them their qaida. Just be sure that they bring those every single day. It's very difficult if a student forgets their book to ensure that they continue moving forward with their lesson. We do let them borrow a qaida, but again, marking it, where the mistakes are, all of those things are for the progression of the student. Like if the child gave that page 53 that day, as a teacher, I'm not gonna remember of the 10 students that I had, right? 9 of them at the top of my head to remember all the single mistakes. No, that's why we annotate. That's why we mark them. So the best way for the progression to remain intact is please just make that extra caution to ensure that they come with their book. Because believe you me, when they don't bring their book, it's a very different attitude, even for them in class. It's a very personal thing to have your own book, right? Even when they don't bring their own Quran, it's not to say that they won't participate in class, but they'll just be like, I don't have my book today, So it'll be a little bit more relaxed. It won't be as serious. Trust me. And it's just the nature of kids, right? So let's be extra cautious to ensure that they have all their belongings. That way we can continue keeping them on track, inshallah. ASQ and staff. Okay, so if children have any electronic devices, this applies to certain students. We have, for example, certain students of ours that have diabetes, for example. We have certain students that are a little older that can just have devices. All of these things we're understanding of, totally okay to have them. We do ask in class that they are not used. They remain in the bags. If and when they are needed to be used, except for special cases, they need to inform the teacher. After the teacher's granted them permission, then they may go ahead, excuse themselves from class, and then go ahead and use the phone. Just so parents also know what our procedure is for that. If a student takes the phone out, they will be given a verbal cue, right? They'll be given verbal warnings. But if it repeats, the teacher will just take it and then give it to you directly at the end of class, right? So that way it just ensures that's going to be tough. The kiddos are not going to like it, but as long as we're all on the same page with that, inshallah. So we're totally cool, once again, with kiddos bringing their devices, as long as they know that they need to remain in the bags and only used when they need to be used, right? Specific purposes, inshallah. And then the last slide. So this is something a little different, where you don't get a taste of this throughout the year, but because it's summer, so, we're a little open to what we can offer to the kiddos, inshallah. So if you are a after-school student, this is not part of your registration, but if you wish to participate in these things, it's totally up to your discretion. Now, what am I talking about? If you look at the screen, there are certain different activities that are available to you and your children, should you consider and should you want to have them participate in any of these activities. The first is an animal show. And by the way, it's definitely worth signing up for these. And I'm not just saying that because like I'm trying to advocate for the masjid. Believe you me, like our summer camp, I just had to turn down the 64th parent, me personally, that came to me and asked me to register their child. 64th. That's excluding our admin team, Sister Salvi, and all the people that get their own messages. The first email we sent out, 70% of it was full. These kind of numbers like give a little bit of a hint that there may be something going on here that the children may really, really enjoy. So these are like the best of the best events that we have in summer camp. So if you do have the time, I definitely say try to get your kiddos to participate in these, inshallah. Animal show, horse riding, plus archery, that's one separate registration. Then you have summer camp fun day, which is the last day that we have for summer camp. That's gonna have water slides, a dunk tank, that's gonna have food, that's gonna have ice cream, just a whole bunch of different activities, carnival games. So that's the summer camp fun day. And the last day is grandparents day. Well, it's not the last day, but the last thing that you can register for is grandparents day. If you have any elderly, any of your kiddos have their grandparents here locally, then we encourage that you bring them. And that's a day where we just have a bunch of different activities with the grandparents. The kiddos will serve the grandparents, they'll eat with the grandparents, they'll play different games with the grandparents, right? And just all in all, a day around grandparents. Do you get what I'm saying? And these activities aren't just activities we throw into the program. They all have a theme related to them as well. Either their character building or the Sira intensive week. They all have some connection back to, some message that we're trying to give back. So again, if you are interested in these, you can also find this information available to you on the website. You can snag a picture of these, but please reach out if you want to register for these. That way we can have that taken care of. I have about 3 chats. Okay. However, he does not have transportation on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I need him to be virtual. Can you please fix this error? I'm not sure if I did not communicate well earlier, but this needs to be fixed so I can join from Monday to Thursday continuously. Okay, so Sister Sadia, if you can correct my understanding here, is safe, Assalamu alaikum, by the way, is safe someone who is going to be virtual Mondays and Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays? He plans to be virtual? You can just feel free to chat it. Sister Sadia, just answering your question. So is safe only virtual Tuesdays and Thursdays? So inshallah, you can just answer that. And then accordingly, we'll take it from there. Any other questions here?
For program for school, they not only pay for one and they pay already for both and then again we have to pay for it.
This is a question you have to ask me on the side. You can't put me on the spot in front of everyone. SubhanAllah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Just to give you a flip perspective though, no, you're good. The summer camp parents were asked to pay a lot more of an additional fee. So that's why we had to kind of balance this out over here. And that's why we were asking for it. So I apologize if this is an incurred cost, something that kind of came from left field. But I promise you, inshallah, it'll definitely be worth it. I can at least assure you on that end. We're going to go together to the admin team. So by the way, if you have any questions related to registration, that's above my pay grade. That's admin outside. I'm going to refer you to them and you can hound them as much as you but the Ghafar, this is your cue to run outside of the masjid. No, so I'll show you the email. So as soon as you go on the website, all the way on the bottom, yeah, that email is of our admin team, Brother Abdul Ghafar and Brother Ali. Yeah, so they help with anything related to registration, the fees associated to registration. You gotta say it, all of that. Okay, so Sister Sadia, your question, yes, he can be virtual Tuesdays and Thursdays, but you'd want him to be in person Mondays and Wednesdays? So I caught the Tuesday and Thursday virtual, but he needs to be in person Mondays and Wednesdays. Is this correct, Salah? Let me know, inshallah. Any other questions, y'all? Yes. Through the year. So these parents, that's what she's mentioning. That she's because there are actually parents from like years now, like Mustar's this is my 6th year here now. And alhamdulillah, Mustar, I've seen him grow since I've been here. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Monday to Thursday. Yeah, 1 hour, Monday to Thursday. Yeah, and we follow Allen ISD. Yeah, we follow Allen ISD. So basically all their major holidays are the major holidays here, the winter break, the spring break, right? But like the main holidays. But aside from that, we're on whenever school is on. And then this last year, we just finished our program in May. What was the date? Like 10th or 11th? And then we gave them 2-week break and now they're coming back again. So these students are actually continuing from last August. A lot of them, see these parents are continuing from last August. They continue till May. They had a 2-week break and now they're coming back again. And June, they'll continue all of June. And then July is the main break that we have. That's the longest break because we need to prepare for next year. We need to get teachers, we need to get books, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that month is preparation month. And that's the biggest gap that you'll have in their Quranic education. And then August, again, we start off and we'll go all the way until next year again, end of April. Inshallah. In the week, in the day, 1 day, 1 hour, 4 to 5 or 5 to 6. Yeah, those are the times that we offer. Wait, yeah. Any other question?
Yes, so I was asking that there is a summer camp and then there's a kids who are only registered for the Quran.
Yes, yes.
So for these activities, can the students who are not in summer camp and also register for these?
Yeah. So these are non-summer camp students because this is already included in their summer camp costs. It's a significantly more expensive program. Yeah, so we already kind of factor that in. After school is just the 1 hour, so it's a significantly reduced offering. But we wanted them at least to have that available, right? So if you wanted to participate in those, this availability is for all the students not in the summer camp program. Yeah.
In summer camp, you have summer camp, right? You can like make it after 5, from 5 to 8, right? And we have like Nadhira from 5 to 6. So what are we gonna do?
No, activities aren't always a 5 to 8. Sometimes they may be even earlier in the day, right? Like summer camp hours. So if you are interested, for example, like we have summer camp fun day, right? Some days, yeah, some days. Like for example, archery. Yeah. So for example, if we do that day, we can have it set to if there's certain kiddos that are registered to have their like lessons dismissed early, or if they're given double lesson the day before, that way we can anticipate. So beforehand, we'll make sure whoever is registered from the after school side, that their lessons are facilitated first, right? Like the fun is going to be there, but yeah. But that's only specifically like 1 week. The rest of the activities are earlier in the day, except for the archery. Yeah. So summer camp fun day, for example, is in the morning. So yeah, if students want to participate in that, they need to come in the morning hours for that. Yeah. Class is always given preference. Yeah, class is always given preference. So if your child even is registered, say for that 1 week, and there is a scheduling conflict, the class will be given preference first, but they'll be given, the first spot. So that way they can finish quicker, and then that way they can head to the activity, inshallah. Great questions, y'all. Any other question? Anyone online? I would like him to join virtual if possible all days. Yeah, so Sister Saleh, he is already virtual. He should be virtual for the registration said virtual. Yeah. So I'll double check, but it seems like all is good for that. Yeah, cool. Any other questions, y'all? All right, Jazakallah khair. And inshallah, we look forward to this summer semester. And then inshallah, let's have a great last semester. And then inshallah, we'll have a little bit of a break. And then we'll be back next year. Sounds good. Jazakallah khair, parents. And we'll see y'all when we see y'all. Assalamu alaikum. So I don't believe there will be any for after school, because usually